I would like to thank MGTOW5513 for sending me this story that is coming from the Washington Post, involving this woman by the name of Stephany Lafountain, who literally took the show How to Get Away with Murder, literally, because she has been charged with killing two of her infants. One she killed in 2015, and then she had another child and killed that one in 2017. So she just gave birth to children just to kill them. But the very interesting thing about it is she actually went to do research on how to kill someone and get away with it. Now she's in jail. So it looks like she didn't get that very far. But she must have got away with a little bit if she did one in 2015 and one in 2017. So she had a little bit of time. See, what happened was, my guess is she killed the one in 2015 and was like, oh, I have a little bit of a streak going here, so let me just go ahead and kill the other child. And maybe I can get away with that too. She wasn't that lucky the second time around. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article. It says, before she called 911 and said her baby wasn't breathing, Stephany Lafountain looked up how to get away with murder. Best ways to suffocate, how to commit the perfect murder, 16 steps to kill someone and not get caught. Her search history suggests malicious intent, the Fairbanks Police Department says, making the subsequent calls for help appear to be something darker. On the evening of November 20th, 2017, Lafountain called authorities for help at her home on Fort Wainwright military base in Fairbanks, Alaska. Her 13-month-old had stopped breathing. Lafountain called her in-laws, telling them that she had been trying CPR. She called her husband, who was away on deployment. He rushed home while their baby girl was flown to the hospital. She died 4 days later. The autopsy revealed that the baby had been healthy. No diseases, no injuries, no genetic abnormalities. Police records state she died from lack of oxygen. As police considered the facts of the child's death, something caught their attention and ultimately spurred a hushed investigation. It wasn't the first time Lafountain had lost a child this way. Lafountain, aged 23, and that is a hard-to-believe 23, who says she changed back to her maiden name, Balecki, was indicted August 29th in the deaths of her two infant daughters, 2 years apart. She has been charged with murder in the first and second degree in both cases. She was arrested August 30th and is being held at Fairbanks Correctional Center on a $2 million bail. The maximum sentence for first-degree murder in Alaska is 99 years in prison and a fine of up to $500,000. When Lafountain's 4-month-old died September 15, 2015, police thought it was an accident and isolated tragedy. As she did it with the 13-month-old, Lafountain called emergency responders and said the baby had stopped breathing. She also called family members. The infant, whose father was from a previous relationship, died later that day. The cause of death was undetermined, according to police records, but the body showed signs of suffocation. Something tells me she probably killed him too. The commonalities in the children's death and the short time separating them were part of what led investigators to believe they had been murdered. First, it was just pulling up her name in the system and saying, look at that, there was another one. And then in both circumstances, she called saying the child wasn't breathing. She called the family. An attorney for Lafountain could not be immediately located. At a news conference August 30th, Fairbanks Police Chief Eric Jukes questioned what true justice might look like after such an unimaginable tragedy. We have two babies that were killed by their mother. How do we even imagine that? There was just nothing we can do to make this right. He praised detectives who said we spent thousands of hours investigating the case in the 5-person department that handled several other homicides in the course of an investigation. Because of its sensitivity, the case was kept quiet. He thanked the families of the dead infants who had to mourn in secret during the 9-month investigation and said he hoped police could find a way to bring them closure. Now, isn't it interesting that they wanted to keep this as quiet as possible? And we're just now finding out about this now? I wonder why. Something tells me had this been a black woman that had done this, well, first off, she probably wouldn't have gotten that far. And two, it definitely wouldn't have been quiet. The whole world would have known about it. We have a family of a baby that has suffered in obscurity and silence. They were all alone. Investigators are not ready to release any information about Lafountain's possible motives or other details of the investigation. They also have not specified how they ascertained that Lafountain had conducted the internet searches for suffocations and murder. According to her LinkedIn page, Lafountain had been working in the deli department at a Fred Meyer grocery store since 2011. She was divorced in February according to online records and has no other children. Detectives do not think her ex-husband, the soldier and father of the 13-month-old, had any prior knowledge of the crime. He is considered a victim in the case. When Lafountain appeared over CCTV at the jail for her August 31st arraignment, according to reporting from the Daily News, she was wearing an anti-suicide smock. This is a pretty wild story, but it's not surprising at all. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Susan Smith. The only thing between her and Susan Smith is she didn't go out and blame black men for killing her children, which I'm kind of shocked she didn't do, but let's be real here. How many black people are living in Alaska? So she probably knew that wouldn't have worked. But yeah, like, I'm almost certain they're probably going to find her guilty. I don't think she's going to walk away from this like Casey Anthony did, although they said that they didn't have enough evidence to back up the claim that she murdered her child. I think the woman still did it, but she's been living off the grid for so long, so a lot of people really don't think about Casey Anthony anymore unless her name just happens to come up in a casual conversation, which a lot of people are not going to mention her name. Y'all let me know what you think about this story down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be down below. I'll talk to you in the next one.